Okay, right. Yes, Litila, I was just opening my mic. Right. So last week we start doing the electronic spreadsheet, and I briefed the things regarding the Excel or like the spreadsheet that we are going to learn. So spreadsheet is something that we can use to do the accounting things as well as the analyzing part. Like it is quite different from the word processing software that we have learned last time. Word processing software, or as familiar to us, like when it comes to the MS Word, it is there to do the documentation parts, right? So creating a letter, creating an invitation, kind of documenting part. So like from that, you are going to change or you are going to advance of doing the things or like doing the calculations with this spreadsheet, right? So when it comes to the word processing software, it is not allowing you to, or like it is not providing you any facilities to create or to do calculations on it, right? Word එකක් උඩ අපි calculations කරනවා නම් අපිට හිතලම කරන්න වෙනවා. But when it comes to the spreadsheets, that software itself helps us to do our calculation in a very easy manner, right? And you will see how it is going to help us, right? I'll walk you through. Then after, we talked about what are the type of spreadsheets that we can find in the world. So like Excel is the one which we are going to discuss, which is provided by the Microsoft Corporation, right? And Numbers is the one which is given by the Apple Incorporation. Both the softwares, which is Excel and the Numbers, are the softwares which has a license. So since they are licensed softwares, we have to pay to use those softwares, right? Or in other words, we have to purchase it. Like LibreOffice Calc and OpenOffice Calc, they are free and open source softwares. So you can download and you can install it and use it, right? So those are the things that we discussed last week regarding the spreadsheets. So today we are going to see or witness, or you can experience how the MS Excel, the spreadsheet software provided by the Microsoft Corporation, is going to work. Now, in your textbook, they have given you two types of explanations or introductions, which is the which is regarding the Microsoft Excel and as well as the LibreOffice Calc, right? So I am doing the practicals using the Microsoft Office Excel, but not with the version 2010. I'm doing it with the one of the latest versions, which is 2019, right? And again, it doesn't matter the version. You can practice all these practicals and the things that I am teaching to you just by using or like starting from Microsoft Office Excel 2007 version. 2007 ඉඳලා ඉස්සරහට තියෙන ඕනම version එකකින් මේ මම කියන දේවල් ටික ඔයගලන්ට කරලා බලන්න පුළුවන්. Right? So don't worry about the version that you have. Whatever the version, if it is 2007 or advanced, you can play or like you can experience what I am saying, right? Okay, so to run the MS Excel in your computer, you have to find it either by pressing the start menu, right, in Windows operating system, and you can scroll down to the letter E, then you can find the Excel right over here. The icon may be different from version to version. This is the icon that they have given to the 2019 as well as to the Office 365 icon. And as well as you can search the Excel and you can just click on the Excel app to launch or to start the MS Excel, right? And when you are starting the MS Excel, when the program is started, you will be taken into this kind of interface where it shows you a button or an icon called blank workbook, and there are more templates which is help you to like create things as a but like using a template, right? And there are some other Excel sheets. If you have worked with this, it will be listed on the recently open Excel worksheet list, right? So what is a template? Template is not something for us to deal with, but I'll show you what are the templates are. So like there are different kinds of templates which are predefined, and we can use those things according to our requirement, right? Now, when it comes to the Excel, there are different kinds of templates, like some are calendar related, some are like hierarchical related, like this photo family tree kind of things, right? And some are like budget planning, and a lot of things are there. Mostly, these are some corporate related templates. ව්‍යාපාරයකට නැත්නම් සමාගමකට අවශ්‍ය වෙන ආකාරයේ දේවල් තියෙන. අපි day to day life එකකට ගොඩාක් වෙලාවට අපි මේ දේවල් පාවිච්චි වෙන ප්‍රමාණය අඩුයි, right? But we are learning Excel for the individual usage as well as for the industrial usage, right? So it's better you know how to deal with this. And we are not going to deal with any templates, but we are going to deal with the blank workbook, which is something here where you are going to learn about your Excel software using a blank workbook. So once you click on the blank workbook, you can click on it in the home page or in the new page, doesn't matter. Then you will be given an interface like this, right? So when it comes to an interface like this, the first thing is you need to know what are the things in this on this interface, right? So on this interface, you are like there are particular commands that you are familiar with already, right? So this particular shortcut menu, we know that about from the word processing software, it was there, right? And this clipboard, right, where these copy paste things are there, and the Nadihan, the notes mukutli wenne nathi veyi, right? So these kind of things are there, right? And the font group is there, so it is allowing you to see how the to change the font size, to change the size of the font, the increase in font size and the decrease in font size. So bold, italic, underlining parts, right? And here you have two separate color palettes. One is to change the color of these little boxes, which we call cells, right? These are called cells, right? And the other one is to change the color of the letters, as we done in the word processing software, right? So before I move into the any other tools, I want you to introduce the other structure of this this particular Excel sheet. Right now, below the ribbons, like you can see the ribbons as you saw it in the word processing software. There are many types of ribbons, right? And in the home ribbon or home tab, you can see there are groups like we saw it in the word processing software. And those groups contains the commands, and some of the commands are very much familiar to you. So like below the ribbons, there are two white boxes over here. One is here where we can type something, and another one is here, right? So these two boxes are called, this little one is called the name box. There is a reason why it is being called a name box, right? And this bigger box is called the formula bar, right? So, and again, there is a reason why it is called a formula bar, right? I'll clear those things within a few minutes, right? So for the moment, just remember this is called the name box and this is called the formula bar, right? And below those two things, you can see there are different kinds of columns, which is named with the capital letters of the English alphabet. And there are rows which are named like in the order of numbers, like from 1, 2, 3, 4, likewise, right? And these capital letters, these are called the column headers, which indicates which column that we are referring to. And these numbers are called the row headers, saying which row, or like indicating which row that we are referring to, right? Later, I will show you how these column headers and the row headers are helping us to identify a particular cell, right? Now, before that, I want to take your concentration to right over here at the bottom. You can see there is something called sheet 1, right? Now, this Excel is considered as a workbook, right? So as a physical book, it has different kinds of sheets or pages. So that is why this is called a sheet 1. So we can rename this particular sheet by double clicking on it, or else we can just right click on the sheet name and choose rename to rename it, right? However, once we double click or right click and choose the rename, the name which is given to the sheet is highlighted. Then we can type any name we want, right? Once we typed a name, then we can press enter, right? So then after, that particular name will be there, or like will indicate the name of this sheet, right? If you want to change it again, you can double click and you can type, I will type 10A over here. So then press A, press enter. So it will apply 10A. So this is not the only sheet that we can work in a workbook. We can take sheet as much as we want by pressing this plus button, right? So pressing this plus will give you another sheet. Pressing the plus button again will give you another sheet. Now in some of the versions of the Excel may not contain this plus mark. Instead of that, they will have something else, some other different kind of icon. As I remember, a particular icon with a gold star. Punchi star ekak hari punchi iraka kene sun icon එකක් වගේ එකක් indicate කරලා තිබාලු කෙනෙක්ක් ගන්න එකට. So anyway, the button or like the command which states at the right side of your sheet is helping you to create a new sheet, right? And again, Dihan, I actually don't know how many sheets that I can take, right? Because like ඔයාගේ කරන වැඩේ කොච්චර complex වුණත් සාමාන්‍යයෙන් අපි sheet 5-6කට එහා පැත්තේ පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ නැහැ. Like we can take sheets as much as we want. I really don't know what's the limit. You can search it from the internet, like how far the sheets can go, right? So we can change the place of these sheets. Like if I want to change this 10A sheet into the as the last sheet, I can just click and drag it to the place that I want. So you can see there is a small arrowhead which is going here and there, right? So if I drop it right over here, my 10A will be the last sheet in my workbook, all right? And again, I can change it to any place that I want when it comes to the sheets, all right? If I want to delete the sheet, I can right click and delete it. So if your sheet does not contain any contents, මේක ඇතුලේ මුකුත් type වෙලා නැත්නම් sheet will just get deleted, right? දැන් මගේ sheets මේ විදිහට delete වෙනවා. But if I put something inside, so if I'll use my zoom controller over here to zoom the page out, otherwise you won't be able to see it properly. So I'll type ABC over here. And in sheet 6, I'll put 1, 2, 3. So some data is there. In sheet 7, I will put PQR, right? So now you can see different types of sheets are there, which contains different types of values, right? So what I'm going to do, Dihan, I'll show you Dihan, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete the sheet 8. It doesn't have anything. So if I right click and delete it, it's just get deleted. But sheet 7, it has something called PQR. So if I right click and delete it, it will give you a warning message. It's saying Microsoft Excel will permanently delete this sheet. Do you want to continue? Right? So it is because we have some data on this. So then the user needs to be alert of his work, right? Because you are going to delete this and this won't be able to recover, right? So if I say yes, delete, it will get deleted. You won't be able to take it again, right? And පුළුවන් දිහා අපිට save කරලා save කරපු file එක pen එකක දාගෙන ගන්න පුළුවන්. මම කියන්නම් save කරන විදිහ, right? So likewise, you will be able to work with the sheet as it as it allows you to do so, right? So Dilini, like there is no clear difference in a tab and a ribbon. Api ribbon කියලා කියන්නේ it's a similar word to a tab. Like home tab එක කියලා කියනවා, home ribbon එක කියලා කියනවා. Insert tab එක කියලා කියනවා, insert ribbon එක කියලා කියනවා. There is no such difference when it comes to this particular thing, right? Okay, so now let's talk about, before that, there is this views of the Excel sheet. So you can see a small word over here which indicates ready, right? Let me show it to you using my magnifier. See, you can see a word called ready over here. So the place where we can find this, the place where you can find this ready word is called the status bar. This will show some status regarding the Excel sheet. I'm going to show you those status when I'm doing the practicals on this, how it is being changed, right? And at the right side of that status bar, you can find these 3 icons, which allow you to have the Excel in different kinds of views. So the first view that this Excel is having is called the normal view, right? The view that we can see. The next one is called the page layout view. So if I take that, so the document will show you like how many sheets are there and how those sheets are being arranged. Now, if you want to add headers and footers and all these things, you can do the things with this. And the next one is called the page break view. So it will show you into which number of pages that your particular Excel sheet is going to break, right? Because when we are having this particular normal mode, we won't be able to see how the pages are being brought. It is just a matrix of things, right? So here, now here it shows you just one cell right over here, people, at the top of the area. It is because it is the only cell which contains the data. So it shows the break-in from that particular point. If your page has a lot of data, so you will be see different kinds of pages are being arranged by breaking them into small or like the some specific size. A4 size එකක් නම් A4 size වලට බෙදලා පෙන්නනවා. A5 size එක දීලා තියෙනවා නම් A5 size එකට බෙදලා පෙන්නනවා. Right-wise. Right, so I will switch back to the normal mode, which is this. This is where we are going to work, right? And you can see there are scroll bars, and you can see it happens on the horizontally and vertically into the both side, and I introduce you to the zoom controller. And I am keeping this zoom controller to the 250% just to show you the things clearly, right? ඕගොල්ලෝ වැඩ කරනකොට 100% වල තියාගෙන වැඩ කරන්න පුරුදු වෙන්න zoom එක, right? Okay. So now I'm going to show you the things that we can do on this working area with the help of these tools, right? So as I told you before, this clipboard and font tools are something that you know, and I told you there are a color palette to change the background of the cell, as well as to change the color of the letters, right? And again, when you are clicking on these little boxes, you can see some highlighting is happening, like from this green color with the green color frame. And if you look closely, you can see there is a small square at the edge of its right. Actually, it's the right bottom edge of that particular cell, right? This is called the fill handle. Later, we are going to learn why the fill handle is there and what are the purpose of that, right? So this particular frame, if a particular cell got this frame, we call that cell as an active cell, right? So name box, the box that we introduced a little bit earlier, is indicating the address of that active cell. Now, what is this address? Now, address is defined for a particular cell. For each and every cell, they got an address. That particular address is defined with the help of the column header and the corresponding row header. Now, if you consider about the cell that I have selected here, it is called C3. The cell name is C3. First, the column header comes, then the row header comes. Now, this cell is indicated as E2. So you can get the clue from the name box. So the name box shows you E2. If I choose this, it is called D6 likewise, right? So that is how a particular cell is being named, right? Now, it's not only a cell, you can select more than one particular cell on a worksheet, right? You can select it horizontally, you can select it vertically, right? Or you can select it diagonally, right? So that means you can select to have a collection of rows and columns. Now, when this kind of a selection has happened, there are certain way that we can call this range in Excel, right? If the selection is just one cell, we are calling it just by its address. Cell එකේ තියෙන address එකෙන් අපි කතා කරනවා, right? If it is a range of cells, right? එක ළඟ තියෙන cells range එකක් නම්, cells parasයක් නම්, we are going to address it as a range, right? Now this horizontal selection that I have done, right, which is where the C2 cell, D2 cell, E2 cell and F2 cell belongs to, we can name this range by stating the very left cell of the selection, then after putting a colon which indicates 2, and then put in the very right edged cell, which is the F2. So if for this horizontal selection, we can say we are selecting C2 colon F2 range. So the selection is given the range, which is called C2 colon F2. So C2 is the leftmost cell in the selection, F2 is the rightmost cell of the selection. So the range is from C2 to F2. C2 වල සිට F2 දක්වා. So that range indicates using a colon. So we type the range. There are places where we need to type the range. So you can type the range by saying C2 colon F2, right? So this indicates this particular cell range. Okay, when it comes to the vertical selection, it goes from the topmost cells to the bottommost cells. And again, people, when you are referring to the topmost and the bottommost, there is no rule that the topmost should be written in first and the bottommost is going to write next. You can swap it if you want. මුලින්ම topmost එක ලියලා ඊළඟට bottommost එක පාවිච්චි කරන්න පුළුවන්. That means this particular range can be addressed as C4, that is the starting cell or the topmost cell, colon C7, that is the bottommost cell. C4 colon C7. Or else we can refer it on the other way around as well. C7 colon C4. That doesn't matter, right? It defines a range. Even in the same way, this C2 colon F2 can be written as the F2 colon C2 as well. And again, there is no rule that you need to use only the simple letters for this. You can use capital if you want, or you can use both as a mix, right? Excel will understand, right? So this particular range is called C4 colon C7. Let's write it like this, C4 colon C7. So this is the range, right? So C2 colon F2, this is the range. And when it comes to a range like this, where we have to, Dihan, there will be situations, we are going to learn something called formulas, and especially when it comes to the formulas, specifically when it comes to the functions, we need those range. That is why we are talking about the range this time, right? Okay, so when it comes to a range like this, we can refer this range by starting from the top left cell, that is the starting cell. In this range, in this particular range, the top left cell is going to be E4, right? And it continues, or the range ends, the right bottom one, the right bottom cell, right? So which is the G7, right? So starting from the top left corner and moves to the right bottom corner, right? So E4 colon G7, right? So this range can be written E4 colon G7. So it's going to be this. Okay, people, are you clear with this about naming the ranges? Yes, can I have the confirmation? Right, great. Okay. Right. So now I'm going to introduce you the things that we can do using these tools, right? So when it comes to the tools, I told you about this self background and the letter colors, and there is something called borders over here, right? Now, why these borders are there? Now you can see there are cells and the borders of them, like, which indicates using some gray color on your screen, right? But let's take a look at of the print preview of this particular book. Before that, I'll tell you how to save this document. You can save this document by using this save button, like you save a Word document, or else you can go to the file and you can go to the save option, right? Anyway, you are going to give the chance to choose a place to save this particular document. So if you are using 2019, you can choose one of the places from here, which is shown by the suggested by the Excel. If you are not getting something like this, then you may given a particular button called browse. So once you click it, you will be having this kind of a window. So this window will allow you to find a place in your computer, right? So this is called the save as, the save as prompt, or like the save as box. So you can find your place using this left panel, and then I'm choosing the desktop for the moment. Then you can give a particular value over here, a name, right? So let's say the grade 10 practicals, right? So then I'm going to save it. Yeah, Dihan, I will go through again. So I'm going to press the save button. Right, once you save it with a particular name, you can see the name that you have given right over here, G10 practicals, and the extension is there, XLSX. That is the extension for the Excel, right? For the word processing software, you can remember it is DOCX, right? So this is XLSX is the extension. You better remember those things, right? So how we are going to save it? Either we can click this save button over here. It will give you a particular window for the very first time when you are saving the saving this particular worksheet or the workbook, or you can go to the file and go to the save, right? So since I have saved it once, it doesn't make any, it won't give you any windows to choose the place and do all these things, because it is not my first time of saving. Once I save it, if I click on this button, or if I go to the file and save, it will just save to the place where I have saved the file. In my case, it is my desktop, right? So you can see this is the file that I have saved. So මම කරන හැම වැඩක්ම දැන් මෙතන තියෙන මේ Excel sheet එකේ කරලා save කරාම එයා මෙතනට save කර ගන්නවා. It won't ask the place again and again, right? But if you are doing this for the very first time, you are going to give this kind of interface. Then either from here or using the browse button, you have to find what is the place that you are going to save your particular Excel file, right? So just choose a place from here. In my case, I choose the desktop. Then I have given the particular value. Then I'm pressing the save button over here, right? Dihan, shortcut in the sense, what you are asking, like shortcut to the file or shortcut to the Excel? Shortcut to the particular file or shortcut to the Excel? Yes. If you want to create a shortcut, it's easy. So like if you are having it on somewhere else, you can just right click and you can say send to this particular thing to the desktop. So desktop will get a shortcut automatically. Otherwise, you have to set up a shortcut, right? එතකොට අපි දැන් C drive එකේ කියන්නේ ඒක ඕනම ෆයිල් එකකට පොදුයි. දැන් ඔයා කොහේ හරි තියෙන දැන් මගේ මේ O level pass paper marks කියලා Excel sheet එකක් තියෙනවා on here. I'm inside the D drive, right, in the ICT folder and inside the O level folder. So I just right click on this and I say send to the desktop. So desktop is having a particular shortcut. This is the shortcut that it creates, right? Or else you can just create it like somewhere else. Then you can create a shortcut on a place that you want, right? ඒක මම වෙනම වෙලාවක කියලා දෙන්නම්. දැන් මේක ASCII මට කතා කරන්න බැරි නිසා, right? Okay, so let me open this again. Yeah, this is the one we were working with, right? So you can save it. Then after, what I was talking about is like, let's see how the print preview of this document. මම මේක තැනක තැඹිලි පාට cell එකක් පාට කරලා ABC කියලා type කරලා ආව සුදු පාට කරලා තියෙනවා. So very small formattings that I have done. So I'm going to the file and going to the print. So this shows you the print preview. So now you can see a clear difference in the print preview because you can't see any metrics on this. Cells තියන structure එක මෙතන නැහැ. It is because these cells are given to you to make your task easier, but it won't show it. It will not show on the printing output that you are going to produce, right? So if you really want to see these borders, so you can easily use this border tool to enable the borders. So if I select this particular range, and if I select this and select all borders, so now you can see borders are being enabled. So you can go to the file and you can go to the print. Now the print preview is showing you a particular borders as the print, or like as the one which is going to print, right? So if you want to see that structure, so please enable the borders. So it will show the way it's going to be, right? Okay, so that is regarding the print preview and the enabling the borders. And then I'm going to show you how to change the height and width of these cells. Now, to change the height and width of these cells, you can move your mouse pointer to the middle of or the margin of these columns. So your mouse pointer is going to change into a different mouse pointer when you move your mouse pointer at the margin of two columns, right? Then you can click on that particular point. Then you can drag it to your left or to your right to change the width of the particular column, right? And in the same way, like these row headers, at the middle of these row headers, there is a margin which separates one row from the other. So in that particular margin is again allow you to change the height of the cell, or you can decrease the height of the cell, right? So with that, you can change the size of a particular cell. But remember, when you are changing it, the width and the height will affect not only that particular cell, but to the entire column as well as to the entire row accordingly. ඔයා ප්‍රමාණය වෙනස් කරොත් column එකක, it's the entire column that affects. එක cell එකක් විතරක් change වෙන්නේ නැහැ. මේ cell එකේ තියෙන ප්‍රමාණය වැඩි කරගන්න නම් වෙනම facility එකක් තියෙනවා merging කියලා. I'm going to tell you, right? But if you're changing your width from here, it's going to change the width of the column entirely, and the height of the row entirely. Okay, people, is that clear so far? Yes, everyone? Is it clear so far? Okay, great. Right, so then after, I'm going to show you what happens to the things that we are going to type on these cells, right? So now I have typed something called ABC, which is full of characters, right? So those are being named, or like those are being categorized as text in Excel. There are two types of things in the Excel when we comes to the content of a particular cell. Some are called texts, which is completely made out of characters or a mixture of characters and numbers. Those are being considered as texts. And there are things which made out of only numbers. Sometimes some symbols are being used, like the currency symbols. So those are being considered as numbers, right? So if I type like 1, 2, 3, it's going to be a value. So text and the values are the two categories. And you can see there is a clear difference in between text and the values. So text are being left aligned. So if you type PQR, it's going to stay at the left. If you point 4, 5, 6, it's going to align to its right by default, right? So text and the values are the two different things that you can find in the Excel sheet on their cells. Dihan අහන්නේ මේ ABC එක උඩට අරගන්න නේද සෙල් එක උඩට පහළට කරන්න නේද තව ටිකකින් මම කියලා දෙන්නම් right. Okay, so that is something for you to recognize, right? And if you find something like C001, which is a combination of letters and the numbers, press enter, still it stays as a text. So that means if you are going to use just a character, a letter inside your value, it's going to consider it as a text. If it is purely made out of numbers, that will be considered as a value, right? So now this behavior is there to help the accountants or the analyzing people who is using the Excel. ඒගොල්ලන්ට ඒක සෑහෙන වටිනවා මම ඉස්සරහට පෙන්නන්නම් මොන මොන තැන් වලද වටින්නේ කියන එක. So it happens like that. Okay, now as Dihan asks, right, now we can change the alignment of a particular content inside a cell, or we can just change the element of all these cells by selecting all those. So for the moment, I just select the first cell, which is A1, and I can change the alignment by using these 6 commands. Now here we got 3 commands or 3 separate buttons to control the horizontal alignment. How the horizontal alignment works? It aligns to your left, it aligns to your middle, and it aligns to your right, right? So by choosing this, we can change the place. Horizontally, that means tiras atata, right? And you can change the place vertically using this vertical alignment. That means top, middle, and bottom, right? So if you want to place this content at the center of the cell, so you have to choose middle and center from here. So it will be center aligned, right? And again, now these indentations right over here, they have decrease indent and increase indent. Now this works quite differently for the text and for the values, right? Now, if I take a text, your text will be indented like this if you choose increase indentation. So it will pulls to your left, your right, I'm sorry, to your right, little by little. So that is called the indent increasing, right? So the increment of the indent. And if you are using, if you use the decrease indent part, it will back indent, or like it will move to your left hand side little by little when you are using that decrease indent tool or the button. Now it is because by default the text are located at the left of your cell. Now when it comes to the values, this 1 2 3, it stays at the right side of the cell by default. Now, if I increase the indent for a value, it's going to move to your left like this, right? Let me make it a little bit bigger. So, can you see it? I'm sorry. Hold on a little. Yeah, something went wrong. Okay, now let's see, increase indent. So it increases, right? If you do it to here, so it increases, right? Close karla, open karan. Something has happened. Yeah, let me type a particular value. Let me change the size a little bit. So I increase, yeah, it increased like this. It's quite strange. Last time it was going little by little. Yeah, hold on, let me see what is there. Okay. Yeah. I think something goes wrong with this cell. Let me take a new one. Make a samane bennone eke anit pattata. Yeah. So it jumps to its left. Right. By default, they are placing, when you are entering a particular value, by default, it resides into your left, into your right. And when you increase the indentation, it increased to your right. If you decrease in it, it decreases in like this, right? But when it comes to the this particular one, this goes to your right when it is increasing. This goes to your left when it is decreasing. Right? So that is what is happening when the increasing and decreasing part is going to happen. Okay, so then after I'm going to show you how the data can be rotated on a particular cell. Now here using this, we can change the way the letters are going to appear on a particular cell, right? So let me clear the things out over here. Right now, if I choose this angle clockwise, it's going to be like this. And sorry, it was angle counterclockwise. This is angle clockwise. And this is vertical text. And this is rotate text up. This is rotate text down. Likewise, you can change it. And if you want to manage it as you want, you can go to this format cell alignment one. So clicking on that. In there, you can see this small box, right? This small box, which indicates the orientation, and it has this small red diamond where we can click and change the place. As you can see, it changes the degrees of a particular text. Now, if I put it like this, so it set it degrees to 30. So once I press OK, this ABC is going to turn the way I have adjusted in here. So likewise, right? Now this is using that particular facility, which is called format cell alignment. All right. So if I want to cancel this, I can take it to the normal place. Yeah, Dihan, it's like this. We have to select the cell that we need to change the angle of the particular data. Then you have to click on this arrowhead over here, go to the format cell alignment, and using this orientation thing, you can change the way it's going to be. So once you press OK, so it will change the way it's going to appear. Is that clear? Dihan? Yeah, right, okay. All right. So then after, I'm going to tell you what to be done with this wrap text and merge and center, right? Now this wrap text is something to do things like this. Now, if I take a word which is a little bit lengthy over here, right? So let me change the size of these cells. Right, then I'm going to say Microsoft Excel. All right, let's say and Word. Now you can see this, the content which is in the cell A1 overflows, or like it is going out of the box, out of the cell of A1. So it's penetrate, it's been spread onto the B1 cell. But when I select A1, the formula bar shows what's the content inside it. So that is one of the purpose of the formula bar. Formula bar indicates what is the content of a particular cell. But remember, it does not do that always. Right? In most of the cases, it will do, right? But it changes its behavior with different types of things, right? We'll talk about it later. But for the moment, you can see A1, which is the active cell. So the content is clear. Microsoft Excel and Word. And if I click on the B1, you can see, you can see nothing. But for like to your eyes, this A1 content is spread into the B1. So once I select the B1, I can type something else. Let's say apple. So I type the apple. Now the problem is I can see the apple on B1, but not the content entirely on A1. So if I want to see the content entirely of the A1, I have to adjust the column width. So you can adjust the column width by using the traditional way, like by clicking and dragging the column. or changing the column width, or you can just double click when you're at the middle of these columns. So it will fit to the value that is there in your column, right? Now the problem is there will be situations where we have these bigger headings, but a very small value that I'm going to place under it, right? ලොකු heading එකක් එක්ක පොඩි value එකක් store කරන්න වෙන වෙලාවල් තියෙනවා. So now this is a waste of papers when it comes to the printing part, right? මොකද ලොකු ඉඩක් අරගෙන තිනවා පොඩි අගයක් save කරන්න. So on that cases, I can change, or I can wrap this entire big word, big phrase actually, into a smaller area, right? So if I reduce the size of this column, it gives me that problem. I can't see what is there in the A1 cell. But if I click on the A1 and if I choose this wrap text, which is this wrap text, once I click on it, you can see the entire phrase is arranged into this cell. So now when I'm like increasing my column width, it will adjust, but everything can be seen inside this cell. If I decrease it, it will adjust. And again, if I decrease it further, you won't be able to see it clearly. So in that case, you have to increase the size of the height, or else you can reduce the size of the fonts, or else you can keep a column width where it can see, or where it can illustrate all the wordings inside it, right? So that is how the wrap text happens, right? Those kind of things will be needed in very practical situations, right? අපි ස්කෝලවල registers හදාගන්න ගියාම ඔය වගේ register format එකක් හදනකොට we may face different kinds of things like this, right? So we are using this heavily when we are like dealing with these accounting types of documents, right? So the next one is about the merge and center, how the merging and how the other formats can be done. So now when it comes to the merging, now merging means like combining together, right? එකට එකතු කරනවා. Mathematically එකතු කරනවා කියන එක නෙමෙයි, they just combine, right? So there are many ways that you can merge, right? One simple way, or like the default way that they have chosen, is merge and center, right? Now if I merge, so like to merge, there should be at least 2 cells being selected, or you can choose more cells for the merge, right? So what happens when the merging is happening? Now to merge empty cells, it won't give you a big hassle. They will just allow you to merge it. Let's see what's happened when the merging is happened to this empty cells. So I have choose the cells from D1 to F3. So I'm choosing this merge and center. So I click it. So it will just merge all the cells inside it and make a one big cell. And look at the cell address of this merge cell. It is called D1, right? So D1 is called, or like is the cell which is at the top left corner, right over here. So remember, once the merging is happening, the cell that it is refers to is going to be the top left corner cell, right? So there will be no E1, F1, or D2, E2, F2, as well as D3, F3, E3. Those kind of cells are not existing now. So it is just D1 and it's a one big cell, right? And let's see what's happened when the things are going to happen when cells contains values, right? So if I choose these two and ask to merge, it will send me a warning message. So this warning message says what? Merging cells only keep the upper left value and discard other values. So upper left value. Now, since I have selected only 2 cells as a horizontal manner, I don't have an upper left one. I have a left side one and a right side one. So instead of upper left one, it will be considered as the left one, right? So once these two are being merged, only leftmost value will be there. That means Microsoft Excel and Word is going to say survive, but not the word apple. It's going to discard, right? Look at what happens. Now, once I press OK, these 2 cells become a one big cell and apple is gone. See, Microsoft Excel and Word is there. Same happens if I merge these 3 things together. Right, Dihan, you can zoom it by pressing the Windows key and the plus button, right? Maybe you will get a different lens. Then, of course, you have to change your lens from your settings, right? I have changed my lens into this kind of square, right? Sometimes you may get this, sometimes you may not, right? So you can exit it using the Windows key and the escape, right? So see what happens when I merge these things. So I'm merging it in a vertical manner. So I'm going to merge. Again, it says merging cells only keep the upper left value. So again, I don't have an upper left one. I have the topmost and the rest of the things, right? So here the topmost one is considered as the upper left value. That means 2 will survive. Neither 3 nor 4 is going to survive, right? So if I press OK, this is how it happens, right? Now you can reverse the merging of the cells by choosing the unmerge cell command, which is given over here, right? But unmerging will not giving you the previous value that has lost when the merging is done, right? Then I 2, 3, 4 get a local cell like unmerge karot. I can press this arrowhead at the right bottom of this list. There is unmerged cells. So if I press this, I will be getting all 3 cells, but without any data inside it. It is just recreating the cells, that's all, right? Nothing else is going to happen. If I unmerge this, Microsoft Excel will go to the A1, but now the apple is not going to come, right? So remember that, like merging will destroy the data just by keeping the upper left corner values, right? Unmerging will recreate the cells, but not the data, right? And what happens on a situation like this? I've got X, Y, Z over here and PQR over here. Yeah, Rusira, yes. We can use the undo tool to do the undoing part. Then it will give you the things, but වැඩ ගොඩක් කරලා ඉවර වෙලා merge වෙච්ච කෙනෙක් unmerge කරොත් එන්නේ නැහැ. undo එක පුළුවන්. right, but undo එක කරාම දැන් ඔයා merge කරලා ඊට පස්සේ ඔයාට අවශ්‍ය වැඩ ටිකක් කරලා ඔයාට ආයි unmerge කරලා පරණ එක ගන්න ඕන වුණොත් undo won't do that, because undo will do that. Undo will do all the things that you have done, right? So it will go back step by step. So you are going to lose some of the data in between, right? So think about this kind of scenario. So I have XYZ on C7 and D7. So I'm going to merge B7, C7 and D7. Now B7 is a empty one. C7 is the one which contains the data, which is called XYZ, and D7, it contains PQY. So once I press merge and center. So it will merge and keep the data in the center. So what is going to happen? Is it going to be totally empty or will it contain anything? Leftmost one is having an empty cell. So let's do it and see. Merge and center, here we go. So it is giving me the same detail or the warning message. It will keep running the left, upper left value, and that is the important one. It says keep the upper left value and discard the other values. So if I press OK, see X, Y, Z survives. Earlier it was like this. After the merging, it was like this. So that means if you got an empty cell as the upper left corner cell, Excel is not going to consider the empty cell. Then accordingly, Excel will choose what kind of a value that it's going to survive. So the logic is save the value which is in the leftmost place. Now, when it comes to the empty cell, there is no value. ඒක නිසා ඒක save empty එක save කරන්න දෙයක් නැහැ. වමට වෙන්න තියෙන පළවෙනි value එක. Upper left corner කියලා ගන්න කියලා තියෙනවා. Now here they don't have upper left corner since it is one particular row. So that means a leftmost value. වමේ තියෙන අගය වමට වම් පැත්තටම වෙන්න තියෙන පළවෙනි අගය ඉතිරි කරලා ඉතිරි ටික merge කරනවා. So that is why once it is been merged, it's look like this. Right? And if the things are going to happen like this, X, Y, Z, P, Q, R, I have ABC over here. And I'm going to merge all these cells, all 6 cells. There are 6 cells. So let's see who is going to survive. If I say okay, still X, Y, Z survives. Why is that? Now, when we are going to merge, the warning was upper left value will be saved. So upper means this particular place that they are talking about. If they don't have a value in here, then it refers what are the values at the upper line or upper rows. So there are 2 values, which is X, Y, Z and P, Q, R. So it chooses the leftmost one. So X, Y, Z survives. But if you got something over here, like UV, if you merge this, so only UV will be survived. If I say okay, so only UV is going to survive. Okay, people, is that clear? Yes, everyone? Okay, great. All right. So there are some more. Yes, Dihan, I'm going to show that to you. Hold on. Right. There are some more regarding the merging part. Let's go through those as well. Now, let's say, let's take the previous thing as well. So I'm going to add another row, which is, I'm having what, WERTYU on here, right? Now I'm going to select all these cells, which has 9 cells in it. And there is a facility called merge across. Merge across. So when we choose this option, it's going to merge. It's going to perform the merging line by line, or like row by row. That is why it's called merge across. So that means it will merge the first row, UV will be survived. It will merge the second row, ABC will survive. It will merge the third row, WER will be survived. Right? Here we are go. Saying okay. So see, now UV survived. Again, it gives me the warning message. That is for the ABC one. So it does like this. So here it is the UV, here it is the ABC, and here it is the WER. Earlier it was like this, now it is like this. So merge across will do what? Merge the things row by row, right? So that helps if you want that kind of a merging. And there is an option called merge cells, just merge cells, right? Let's see what it does. Now I have choose all these 9 cells again. I'm going to the third option, which is called the merge cells. So if I click on that, it will give me the same thing. Merging cells only keep the upper left value and discard other values. So I press OK. And UV survives. UV was the top left or like the upper left value. So it's the UV which survives, others are discarded. Now there is a difference when you are like merging and center and just merge. What's the difference? Here the UV is going to stay at the left alignedly. Like if you do the merge and center, UV is going to stay at the middle, right? But when you just merge cells, UV is going to stay at the left. Dihan, මෙතන කියන්නේ දිහාන් මේ merge කරන විදි දෙකක් ගැන. මේ cells 9ම එකතු කරලා merge කරාම එක තනි cell එකක් හැදෙනවා. ඒ හැදෙන cell එක එකේදී survive වෙන්නේ මේ වම් අත පැත්තේ කෙළවරේ උඩම ඉන්න කෙනා විතරයි. ඒතර merge and center කියලා දුන්නොත් මේ UV කියන කෙනා ඉතිරි වෙලා එයා මැදට align කරලා පෙන්නනවා. මේ දැන් මේක ලොකු cell එකක් මේක. එයා මැදට align වෙලා ඉන්නවා. මේක මම නිකම් merge cells කියලා විතරක් දුන්නොත් මෙයාගේ third option එක එතකොට වම් අත පැත්තේ කෙළවරට වෙන්න UV ඉන්නවා. alignment change එකක් විතරයි වෙන්නේ. අපි තෝරලා තියෙන මුළු criteria එකම merge වෙනවා. cells 9ක් අපි select කරලා තියෙනවානේ. cells 9ම merge වෙනවා. Is that clear? Dihan? Yeah. Oh, merging means Dihan, like combining things together. අපිට ඒක උවමනා වෙන වෙලාවල් එනවා merge කරගන්න. දැන් book එකේ examples තියෙනවා time table එකක් එහෙම හදනකොට. There are practical scenarios. Right? Merge means එකතු කරනවා කියන එක. එකට එක්කහු කරනවා කියන එක. ඒ කියන්නේ mathematically නෙවෙයි. අපි කීපයක් එකතු කරලා එක දෙයක් හදනවා කියන එක. Right? That's what you call merge. Right? Oh, එහෙම ප්‍රශ්න අහලා clear කරගන්න. That is good that you are doing, right? So is that clear, Dihan? Right. Okay, so that is regarding the merge cells, and we have talked about the unmerging part, right? So you can merge either horizontally or either vertically or either with a batch of a particular cells, right? All right, and yeah, I couldn't show you the edges of this Excel sheet. කොච්චර ලොකුද කියලා මෙයා. Right? So like when it comes to the column headers, it continues like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, like up until to the Z. So after the Z, see what happens. After Z, they have started like AA, AB, AC, AD, like the vehicle numbers goes. So once the AZ arrives, so it starts the BA, BB, BC, BD, likewise. So if you want to go to the very end of this column, I'm sorry, very end of this row, you can use the control button and the right arrow key. So it will quickly move to the very end of the Excel sheet, which is the column called XFD. So it will be huge number of columns. If you want to move to the bottom of the rows, you can use the control key and the down arrow key. See how big it is. It's a 1,048,576 rows are there. A huge number, right? So it is that big. And if you want to come to the leftmost column, you can choose the control key and the left arrow. And if you want to go to the very top, or like the cell A1, you can choose control and topmost one. So it will move to the A1 or the, hold on. Yeah, it will move to the place where you have a value, where you find the very first value from the bottom, right? So then after it will move accordingly, right? The control key ekai arrow keys we use karama, you can go here and there in the Excel sheet, right? Okay, so those are the things regarding the Excel worksheet generally, right? So the merging and wrapping text and all these things, right? And there is, we have to learn about this, that little square when the selection is happen in a one particular cell. Now we are going to learn about that. Earlier I was telling, at the edge of this little square, we call it the fill handle, and we are going to learn what is the purpose of this now, right? So before that, I'm going to clean this mess, and I'm cleaning the formattings, right? So we can clean the formattings by go to the editing group, and from this little eraser, I have clear all, clear formats, clear contents, clear comments, and clear hyperlinks kind of things. So I have clear it all. So my sheet is literally reset, right? So now I'm going to use ABC over here, which is a text, and 1, 2, 3 over here, which is a value. And again, I'm going to use something like C001, again, something that considered as a text. So we can use the fill handle to copy this content along a column or along a row, right? So like if I select C00, let's select ABC. So now using the fill handle, so your mouse pointer is going to change when you are moving your mouse pointer to the fill handle. On that point, you just click it and drag. You can drag it along the row, or you can drag it along a column. You can't drag it diagonally. Diagonally, either the horizontal manner or the vertical manner. So first I'm going to copy it to the vertical manner. See what is happening. So this content is copied to all the cells. And if I just copy this 1, 2, 3 using the fill handle to the others, it's going to do the same thing. Here you will see something different. If I copy this C001 to here, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's increasing, right? So that is the nature of it. So when only text are there, the text will be copied. When only the values are there, that particular value will be copied. When the text and the values are together, text will be copied as it is, but value will be increasing one by one, right? If I made this C004, so it's going to copy like from starting from 4, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, likewise, right? And that is when we are just selecting a single cell and copying it down, right? Now, what's happened when we are having a pattern? Let's say A here, let's say B here, A and B. So I choose these two and I copy it down. Right? Dihan, just a second. Right? Dihan, මේ කියන්නේ fill handle එකෙන් කරපු දේම තමයි පුතේ දැන් මෙතන කරගෙන යන්නේ. Right? මම AB කියලා cells දෙකක ලියලා A දෙක select කරලා fill handle එක click කරලා ඇදගෙන එනවා. එතකොට මේ AB කියන කෙනා අනිත් ඒවාටත් AB 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 විදිහට select වෙනවා. කලින් කරේ එක්කෙනෙක් select කරලා click කරගෙන පහළට ඇදගෙන ආපු එක. එතකොට එක්කෙනාගේ තියෙන දේ copy වෙනවා පහළට. Right? දැන් අපි කරන්නේ මෙතනට එක්කෙනෙක් දාලා ඊළඟ එකට මම දෙනවා මෙතනට 2, then after I'll give 4. So 2 and 4 both are selected, then I'm select කරලා තියෙන්නේ. Then I use the fill handle, then I drag it down. Now what you can see, the pattern is being continued. See, C2, C4, C6, C8, C10. I'm sorry, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, and 16. Likewise. Right? So you can create different kinds of patterns. If you want the multiplication table of 3, so you can put 3 and put 6 here. So like select it and just copy it. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24. Like likewise, you can go the limit that you want. Dihan, is that clear? Right. So let's see, this is C004. Here we'll take C007. So C004 and C007. I'm copying these two, selecting those two, using the fill handle, just copying it. Yeah, so the pattern continues. 4 plus 3 is 7, 7 plus 3 is 10, 10 plus 3 is 13, 13 plus 3 is 16. So the pattern continues. And there are some special things as well, right? If you put Sunday, and from the fill handle, just selecting Sunday using the fill handle, you can create the weeks of the days. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, likewise. Ranuja, like you are referring to which column? To the B column or to the C column? Column B, yeah. They are not multiplying, Pudha. They are just maintaining the pattern. So 2 plus 4 is 2 plus 2 is 4. 4 plus 2 is 6. 6 plus 2 is 8. 8 plus 2 is 10. Still, it is not multiplying anything. It is just adding up. When you are having 3 and 6, like if you take 5 and 10, so the difference is 5. So the rest of the things will be the multiplication of 5. 5, 10, 15, because it is 5 plus 5 is 10, 10 plus 5 is 15, 15 plus 5 is 20, 20 plus 5 is 25, likewise. It's just an addition, Buddha. Got it, Ranuja? Right. So like the weeks of the days, we can go with the months of the years as well. If I get January, then I'm going to have the others, February, March, April, May, June, likewise. even it is support for the short form. If you take sun, and we can copy it in the 3-letter words, the days of the week, and the Jan, if you go like that, Feb, March, April, May, likewise, it can continue. Right? See, now you can have the feeling that this will help in many different ways to the people who are using the Excel, right? According to their requirement, right? The requirements may differ from person to person, but it will help, right? Okay, people, is that clear up to this point? Right, great. Okay, so by next week, we are going to learn about this particular thing, which is called the number formats. How we are going to have a particular number and how we are going to change the formatting of that number, right? Okay, so for the moment, for today, I'm going to end the session from here. So if you got any questions, you can stay and ask, right? And if you don't, you can leave. Have a very good night, and I'll see you on next week for the very same time, right? Dihan, maybe note එකක් අපිට ලියන්න ඕන වෙන වෙලාවෙදී අපි short note එකක් ලියනවා මේක ගැන, right? So get ready, right? When the time comes, we will write the notes. Right, people? So thank you very much. Have a very good night, everyone, and stay safe. I'll see you on next week for the very same time.